How's it going, Demon Mama?
Good. How are you? It is wonderful to hear you. Did you want to do video tonight? I don't know if you were up for that.
I do have video up actually. If you wanna, let me go ahead and turn that on real quick. There we go.
Amazing. Let me get you up on the big screen here. Blam! Suris, welcome.
How is it going? Let me go ahead and do my quick post on Twitter to let everybody know I'm over here as well.
Yay!
for funsies. But how has your stream been going so far?
So far, it's been really good. It's been very all over the place. I've had a lot of very goofy things to talk about. We've been, what have we talked about? Hasbin Hotel, and for some reason we talked about the Lorax, and we talked about a little bit about AI. It's been a fun time. The warm-up has been very, very good.
Fun. My me and my girlfriend have actually been watching through Hasbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss recently, so it was nice hearing the commentary on that. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew that reference.
Yeah, oh, well that's great. I watched Hasbin Hotel, and I watched like the first episode of I watched like the first episode, I think, of Hell of a Boss. I don't know what happens after that, and I don't fully know the drama right now because I know people are like mad about stuff, but I don't fully understand it. I know there was one thing that was like legit, which was like the people were being underpaid or something. I don't know. It seemed fun. Hasbin Hotel was great. I liked that little pilot. When I first set out to go watch it, somebody said, hey, you want to watch Hasbin Hotel? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can watch an episode. They're like, well, there's only one. And I was like, what?
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
I mean,
I've enjoyed the series up to a point. It has a weird start. Like the pilot's amazing, and then episode 1 and 2 are kind of a little flat almost, okay. and then it picks itself back up and becomes properly what it's supposed to be. Hell of a Boss also has been really, really fun. I know you mentioned that that one is like a spiritual sequel to the other. It's more that they're two shows that happen within the same canon, kind of like a bunch of comic books that all happen with like DC or Marvel canon.
That kind of makes sense to me. For some reason, I thought they were like it was like a legally distinct spiritual successor or something like that.
No, so like in the pilot episode of Hell of a Boss, like there's a character Luna who's like literally watching the TV news broadcast that happens during the pilot episode of Hasbin Hotel, where Charlie's like trying to make her initial pitch for the hotel.
Yeah,
so
where
like
she's like, we can
are
make
happening
you good, or whatever.
Yeah, the two series are happening congruently with one another, and every bit of lore that comes from one feeds into the other. So like you'll meet certain overlords in Hasbin Hotel that you won't meet in Hell of a Boss, but they're all vying for the same like power struggles.
Okay. All right. So that checks. So, but now there is a Hell of a Boss series, and that has,
yes.
I don't know how many episodes it has, but it's been...
There's 2 seasons of it so far.
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
In terms of, like, major demons, we've met Gluttony, we've met Lust, and we've met Mammon.
Nice.
And it's been... I'm not gonna lie, I almost prefer Hell of a Boss a little bit to Hasbin Hotel. Though the last episode of Hasbin Hotel has made me go, okay, maybe I like them both about the same now that Hasbin's picking up.
One thing that's cool is that somebody did make fan art of me as a Hasbin Hotel character.
I mean, it fits, given your aesthetic. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it 100% fits.
I really like the aesthetic of the show, and it seems very fun. I think I'll probably at some point. I have like the most massive media watch list right now, so I'm like buried in it. But I probably will watch the whole new Hasbin Hotel show, and I'll probably watch the rest of Hell of a Boss as well at some point. I just like I said, I've been a little bit buried under my media recommendations. I'm currently watching through I've been watching it with Gayfesh actually, because we hang out and watch movies around here. And we've been watching For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus or whatever. I really like that. Yeah, For All Mankind's been really good. I don't know if you've seen that at all, or if you're into
I
that
have
kind of
not. I understand the feeling of being buried under media because I finally decided that it was time to start One Piece.
Mm-hmm. Oh God. That's a hell of an undertaking.
Within the last 4 months, I've gone through 500 episodes.
Holy shit!
So the thing that has I say helped, but not really helped. Is it like you and I both do very similar content in terms of the types of things we talk about on our channels. I've been dealing with a lot of burnout where that's concerned. It's especially with a lot of the anti-trans stuff that's been getting worse and worse and ramping up and up.
Yep.
And it doesn't help that. So I live in Georgia, in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, and my girlfriend who lives with me, who I had to go across the country to rescue basically out of Alaska, is also trans. So like every single bit of that news is something I don't get to separate it from myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm a cishet white guy in the Georgia South, and all of it hits way too close to home because of every other bit of circumstance.
Yeah,
So I've been dealing with a lot of burnout, and I've also been really sick. So, due to a combination of being sick, having burnout, and my house trying to fall apart around me, I've had more time to dedicate to other projects that are a little less intensive on my brain. And one of those has been, trying to go through and start One Piece. It was also one of Saki, my girlfriend's favorite shows, and she only got to like episode 800 or so. So she was like, "Hey, if you want to watch One Piece with me," and I'm just like, "Oh, so chance to spend time with my girlfriend? Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm doing that." That sounds good. That sounds like a thing I could do.
That sounds really good. Yeah, I weirdly enough, I know a lot of people who are going through One Piece. I have so far been like dodging One Piece like fucking Neo in the Matrix because I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared of it. And I already know that I would like it. I already know this. I can tell I'm not a hater. I don't have any fucking hate for it or anything like that. It's just a matter of I can't. I know I can't do it. If I add this, it's going to eat up everything else, and I have lots of other things that I love, and it's just a little scary, you know?
So what I would recommend to somebody who's going through it right now, you have two options ahead of you for doing it healthily, and one option that is horrible. The horrible option is the one I've chosen, which is watching the anime. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea because it is more horribly paced than Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, wow. That's a tough cookie.
And I adore Dragon Ball Z, but whenever I go and decide, hey, it's time to rewatch that show, I turn on Kai, because Kai actually cuts out most of the problem stuff in Z and makes it a more watchable show for return viewing. One Piece is paced worse than that. So the two options that are ahead of you are either reading the manga, which, obviously that's paced however Oda wanted it to be paced, so it's fine. Or, so there is a studio right now that is in the middle of getting the license for One Piece so that they can do a remake of the anime from the beginning onwards. And they're going to do it in the seasonal anime structure. So instead of a 50-episode romp to cover a couple chapters of the manga, it'll be, a 12-episode seasonal season to cover that same amount of material, kind of like Full Metal Alchemist and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where it's like, you're watching the same show up to a point, but it's condensed and it's not having to keep up with the manga or anything. So those would be the sane choices for consuming the show. Unfortunately, I have to eat the sunk cost fallacy, so I'm stuck where I am.
I have recently gotten sort of sucked into JoJo's, which I didn't really.
Where are you at in JoJo's?
We just finished the Darby the Lesser episode, the one where they have to play video games.
Okay, so you're in part 3.
Genuinely, just amazing. Both of the Darby episodes, the gambling one where they have to gamble their souls, and then the second one where they have to play video games for their souls, is like they're just. It was so fun. I was laughing the entire time. Legendary, genuinely legendary.
JoJo's is one of those series that the longer I watch it, the better it gets, and it's astounding.
I totally got pulled in. So my partners started watching JoJo's like sort of independent of me. Like literally, I think I was like streaming the first day they started watching, and then since then I ended up sitting in for like a whole bunch of episodes, and I was doing the annoying thing where you're like, who's that guy? Okay, what's that guy?
Which is hard to do for JoJo because it's a villain of the week show where you are right now.
Yeah, well, like I started
so there's a lot of who's that guys.
So I started watching it consistently when Joseph Joestar is like young and coming in America, like he comes to America, you know, and he's like, so that's when I first started watching it like fairly regularly, and I missed a few episodes, and then like, but for the whole like part 3, I've basically been on board for that, where I've been watching the all of the like tarot cards and the gods and whatever, and it's been awesome. And so I'm totally in for the whole hike now. And that one I wasn't even planning for, but I've wanted to watch JoJo's. I just never really like, I didn't have it. It's not progressing through my list. So now I'm like, okay, I got JoJo's, and now I'm like, okay, yeah. So I think JoJo's is my thing for now, and then I'll see. Maybe someday I'll have the courage and the time to undertake One Piece, but I can certainly
definitely do yourself the favor of doing one of those quicker options. That way you can get the same amount of story and enjoyment, but you won't have the giant wall.
Yeah. Those walls can be pretty intimidating. I've also been reading through Berserk, which it has been on my list forever. I need to do that. Oh,
yeah, Berserk is on my list because I grew up watching the 97 anime.
Oh, that's
awesome. That covers everything up to Griffith's turning point.
Yeah, which is crazy because that's like that happens so quickly in the manga.
Yeah, it's such a small part of the manga, but it is the entirety of that anime.
Yeah, and also that anime has one of the best openers, like anime openers of all time. The Pen Pals Tell Me Why. Oh my God, what a legendary opener. Oh my God, beautiful.
Yeah, I want to go back and
why. So good.
I want to go back and rewatch that anime at some point. If I wasn't like, I'm in the middle of One Piece, obviously, the middle of the Hasbin series, both of them, and then I'm also trying to finish My Hero and Spy Family.
Oh wow!
So I've got like all that stuff that's going on, and then I'm working on a second channel right now as my other main project I'm focusing on. So like,
what's your second channel? I didn't know that.
It's a Suris MTG. It actually.
Oh, cool. Wait, I see you tweeting about it actually. Now that I think of it.
Yeah, I just hit the amount of subscribers required to put in my application for monetization now.
Yo,
because the channel's been. Thank you. The channel's been growing really well, and it's been a nice break because like I don't want to stop cultivating a space where people who are queer, LGBTQ, just in general, have a place to go where they want to chill, and they don't have to feel like the area around them isn't trying to just destroy them, even though we're in America, so it kind of is. But I recognize that the way that I had created that space before for a lot of my community was very much around content dealing with politics, which then created kind of a catch-22 for a lot of them, where some of them wanted to engage in escapism from those politics, but to be part of a community that involved me meant that they didn't get to do that. That was impossible. So working on my Magic the Gathering channel has given me a chance to keep cultivating that community in a different direction, but still advocating for the same things. And it's been less of a drain on my mental health. So I've been doing, one of the things I like doing is I like building budget decks. I like making sure that everybody who wants to play a game can play it regardless of their income level.
That's awesome.
I think it's very, very irresponsible when somebody goes into a card shop and says, no, you're not allowed to play with me unless you have a $2,000 deck. And there are some people who have that mentality that I've met. So I built a bunch of decks, and I keep building them on a $15 budget. You're only allowed to have $15 for the entirety of the deck, but the deck has to be something that I'm willing to take into a card shop and compete against other players with and win with. And everything I've built so far has had a pretty good track record for the physical decks that I've built. So I've been releasing basically a deck a day on that channel for people. So there's, no matter what kind of player they are, they've got some type of access to a budget deck that will give them something that they want. I have a Galea Enchantress deck I'm working on that should be going up in a few days. I just got dragons built under a budget, which was, a lot of my comment section were noting they didn't think that was even possible, because dragons are like notoriously expensive in Magic.
I traded a single dragon card that I pulled from a random pack. And now I don't play Magic very seriously, and I don't keep up with it all that well, but during the D&D crossover, I got a couple packs, and I pulled a red dragon. I don't remember what it was, and it was it was worth enough that I traded it for an entire Ashiok themed deck that I just wanted. And I was like, I love the Ashiok cards. I have that deck downstairs. It's like, I love those cards. I love the theming. Ashiok is like such an amazingly visually designed character, and the deck
especially
is like
that they're literally just an NB nightmare. Like their entire personality is non-binary nightmare.
Incredible, and also the art is let's just say it goes there.
It's fantastic.
It's amazing. The fucking demonic feet on the skull type shit is incredible.
Especially like the story that Ashiok has, like the shit that Ashiok gets up to within the lore is fucking fantastic as well. During the Phyrexian invasion, where like the Magic the Gathering equivalent of the Borg were going and taking over everywhere, Ashiok was partially responsible for saving everyone by being an asshole. They basically went into the main villain's mind and just went, I wonder if a machine can experience fear. Let's give them enough nightmares to find out.
That's so awesome. That's incredible.
And so like the culmination of that whole story ended up being, oh, now the main villain is afraid of one particular person, basically enough to throw a temper tantrum and ruin their entire empire, all because Ashiok decided to have fun one night.
That's fantastic. I don't follow the lore at all, so that's like new to me, but also really cool. But yeah, I traded that one card for that deck because I was just like, I love this theme, and also I tend to love decks that are like I mean, it depends on the game you're playing, but like mill decks, like where you force people to discard and throw, that's like one of my favorite overall formats. It's almost never viable and in almost any game, but once in a while one will slip through, and when they do, I love it. And I know why they're never viable. It's because they're horrible to play against, but that's fun. I love making a deck that's a nightmare to play against.
So it's weird though, because in Magic, Wizards has actually made a concerted effort to make mill a super viable strategy. So like,
cool.
we got what's called the Crab Engine, Hedron Crab and a couple other crabs. They all are basically the same card. They're either 0-2 or 0-3 creatures that say when you play a land, target player mills 3 cards. So you just stack a bunch of those 1-mana crabs on the board, then you play like Evolving Wilds. Hey, mill like 20 cards. I tap Evolving Wilds. It goes to the graveyard and gets a basic land out of my deck. I guess you mill 20 more. Oopsie doodles.
That's incredible. That sounds awesome. I love mill. There was so yeah, anyway, what I was gonna say is I think it's really cool that you're doing the like budget builds, and I think that's an awesome thing. And hey, if you're out there listening now you know where you can go find some cool builds that don't cost much, so you can play a game that is sort of notorious for often being a little pricey to get into.
It's the main reason I wanted to build with that restriction, because at the card shop that I go to, there's a few kids who started playing Magic at that shop, and I've been playing with them for years now. So like they're like 17 now, but they were 13 and 14 when I started playing with them at the shop. And so I watched them start with precons that they got, from the store, and ran with them, and then got beat by a bunch of the adults who, we make money working, so we've got money to spend on trading cards. And watching them get more and more frustrated with losing and hoping that, one day they'll have enough money to spend on the expensive cards. Actually, because of that, at the Magic tournament that we had recently, this last Saturday, one of the players up there was a mom, and she brought her kid with her, and her kid was playing just an Urza precon, like $40 right off the shelf, and got in a pod with me, and I won that commander pod pretty handedly, and then got that, same telltale, if only I had enough money to afford the cards I need to win. So I pulled out every card I used to win, priced them out on the table, and went, combined everything in my hand right now is $5.
That's incredible.
There is no world in which you need money specifically to win in this game, unless you are playing CEDH, which everybody basically considers a different format. You don't need money to win in Commander. You just need to know what you're doing when you're building, and that comes with time, not with sinking every dollar that you get to, fucking Wizards of the Coast. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's an awesome undertaking, and it makes the game a lot more accessible, which means there's going to be more people playing, which is always a really good thing. Yeah, I've never really been able to keep up with any tabletop game for very long. I've played a lot of different ones, mostly because my really good friend who lives around here, it is super into lots of different card games. So I've played like Card Fight, I've played Digimon, I've played oh my god, what's the one? It's like it was super anime.
Weiss. That's Weiss Schwartz.
No, not that one. It was a different one. I don't think it was Weiss.
Different one?
It was called
Force of Will?
Yes, Force of Will. I've played Force of Will. I've played Magic, obviously. And of course, then we've played all the like more limited games that aren't like the collectible pack opening types, like Star Realms and
right, the deck building games like Tanto Quar or the Resident Evil game.
I love deck builders. Oh, I like Netrunner too. I'm probably going to be playing more Netrunner in the future.
Okay.
I really like deck builders, are like one of my favorite types of games where they're like, I don't know, the collecting aspect almost always gets too big for me, where I always feel like I can't keep up with it, especially with Magic, because I feel like Magic releases a lot of packs. And I'm always like,
they've been releasing way more lately. Like the community's actively been telling Wizards of the Coast that they've been releasing too much for most of us to keep up with.
Yeah.
So like, for me, I'm a content creator. I can write off packs that I buy because I use them on my streams.
Right.
Not everybody has that luxury, and nobody. It should never be an expectation for somebody to have that kind of luxury. So, that's one of the reasons that I tried to do that. Also, mainly because of the leftist content that I've done, there's a lot of conversation about third places that comes up when you're talking about like building walkable cities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for me, my third place always has been a card shop. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Pensacola Christian Academy, and the only place I could go for any type of sanity was certainly not my house. So the idea that the idea that a third place, which for those who aren't aware is just your first place is your home, your second place is your work, your third place is where you go to hang out. For a lot of people, it's a bar, it's a mall. Malls are closing across America. Bars are becoming more atomized. You don't really meet people in bars as much as a lot of people used to. So like, hobby shops are one of the few third place specific locations that it's still socially acceptable to go into and just loiter for 8 to 10 hours, and that's important for a lot of people's mental health.
Hang out, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, because like you go to a bar, somebody comes up to you and goes, "Hey, do you want a drink? Do you want anything off the menu?" And then congratulations, you're at your table probably for the entire night. Congratulations. Hey, Saul Gracious in the chat knows the same line we all used for PCA, Prison Camp of America.
Oh my god. Yep.
All of us used that when we were, as soon as I got to public school, that was the name everybody had, everybody who escaped it. Prison Camp of America. But no, because I care about those third places, and my third place growing up was a shop.
Yeah.
Making sure that going and having fun with people at those places, I know it's important for my mental health, so I know it's important for other people's mental health too. That's one of the other reasons that I do that on that channel. I don't think that lack of funds should be lack of funding should be a reason you're not able to go out and help your mental health.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Well, we are just about up on our time slot here, Suris. It has been wonderful to talk with you, and we should definitely.
You as well.
Again.
It's been a while.
I'm sorry we only have such more limited slots, but you know we have so many people who want to call in on these call-in streams. So, but please feel free.
It is what it is.
And yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful getting to talk with you and hear about what you're working on. I do hope that the burnout abates a little bit and you're able to keep pouring, your heart and soul into everything that you're making. Your alternate channel sounds awesome. Everybody, please go check it out. And I just want to say thank you again so much for coming on. It's been amazing getting to talk with you, and I hope we get to talk again in the future soon.
No problem. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for putting time out there so that other people could come in and talk on your channel. And
Absolutely.
Hey, If anybody's watching right now and hasn't already subscribed or donated to Demon Mama's channel, maybe consider doing that.
Please give yourself a full shout out before you go as well. I would love to be able to tell everybody. Thank you. But yes, of course,
Okay.
I appreciate all subs.
So I guess for a full shout out, my name is Suris. You can find me on Twitter at SurisSkeptic. My channel is Suris on YouTube, Neko Suris on Twitch, and if you want to go to the MTG channel, it's Suris MTG. There's also a podcast that's ran on there on Fridays called Spicy Tech, where me and a couple of my real life friends get together and we talk about different things that have happened in the game. So like if you're wanting Magic news stuff, I don't really get into that a whole lot, but we might cover it a little bit on that podcast. But typically there's that. Main channel is mostly just talking about leftist content, a lot of religious trauma stuff. If you have the spoons for that, then by all means, I would not mind you spending them on my channel.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and hope to speak to you again very soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye for now.
See you.
Yay! That was so good. Oh, that was such a great talk. What an absolutely wonderful conversation. Yay! It's been so long since the last time I got to talk to Suris. I'm really happy we got to catch up.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Blitzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.